welcome to Steve McDonald's Arts and Crafts, and today what I'm going to be doing is trying to make a really, I suppose, large open back bezel with this flat wire. Now this flat wire is so easy to get hold of and it's made of aluminium and it bends lovely. So what I want to do is make a flower with it. I'm going to unroll quite a large amount of it first and try and get it all nice and, well, I suppose what I'm looking for is the word flat. So that should be enough to start with. I'm going to make kind of a flower shape out of it, going round, and it bends really, really easily. And you can do sharp corners with it, or you can do kind of soft corners with it like that. Now, if you've got a picture that you want to follow around, you can also do that with it. So, for example, I've drawn a little picture here of just a simple flower, and then all I need to do is get the wire and go round this and follow the little pattern that I've made. And it's not difficult to bend at all. I mean, it doesn't have to match it exactly, but what it does do, it gives you that idea of getting things into perspective. It just makes life a little bit easier if you have a picture. Because you can always play around with it a little bit once you've got this done. So keeping it on the pattern as you're bending it, and keeping it as flat as you can possibly keep it as well. So I'll go round and I'll finish this off, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do next. Well, there we go. That's all ready now, other than I have to seal these two ends together to ensure that I've got a final finish. Obviously, because if not, all the resin's going to run out. And I've done the centerpiece already. And all I use to do that with is some clear tape. And the reason I use clear tape is because it's not going to be seen at all in the final piece. And any bits that are on the outside, you can easily just take off. The only thing I would say is you do need to have as flat or as square a cut here as possible, so they join up nice and neatly to each other. Yeah, that's looking quite good. And I bet you're all thinking, well, what are you going to do to dam it? How are you going to stop that all running out underneath? Well, I've got a thought of that as well, so I'm going to show you that in a second. Now I've got my tape on there, on that bit, all I need to do is push that bit up to it and then close my tape up. And then what I did was, for the other one, I trimmed back the one edge so it only went halfway round the back. So I can then use the other half, this bit here, to wrap around that way, if that makes any sense whatsoever. And that will hold that in place. Once the resin's in, it's going to hold in place anyway. If we want to straighten that up, we can. And now we need to think about, that's the centre bit, look. And now we need to think about getting this nice and flat, or as flat as we possibly can. Well, as you know, you can't buy damming tape, well, as far as I'm aware, large enough to do this. I'm going to be using this sticky back plastic, or we used to call it Fablon. I will link it in the description below, so don't worry about that. Now, I've used this once before and it worked out really, really well. So all I need to do is cut a bit out of there, and it's so cheap as well. That's the other great thing about this. So all I need to do is cut myself a square of this off like that, so it's big enough to fit this flower on. Roll it back on itself so it's not all roly-poly like this, because I don't want it to be roly-poly. I want it to be as flat as possible when I use it. Yeah, that'll do. Because once I take it off here, it's going to be a little bit flatter. And that's the sticky side. Then pop this in the middle of that and push it down around all the areas, and then put my middle bit in as well, because that's the center of my flower. Now, you can make any shapes that you want like this. It doesn't have to be a flower. And then make sure all your bits are nicely stuck down. What I'm using to fill this up with is some transparent pigment in my resin, so that when I take the back off this, then I can get the light shining through it. I fill it up, but not completely, and then I'm just using a bit of stick to push it right to the ends, because I really don't want this to flow over into the other bit and contaminate it. And the same goes for this. I've coloured this with like a pinky colour. I wish I'd done it a darker colour, but I chose the pink because I thought that would look nice. I just want to say a quick thank you to all my members whose names are coming up now. And if you'd like to become a member of my channel, the link for that is in the description below. And you can benefit from all the perks, plus you have access to me to ask questions. Now, how I do this is I fill up each of the petals first and not the center, so that then again I can go through it with a stick and make sure everywhere's covered. And again, that isn't overflowing into the area in the middle, because I don't want that contamination. Pop in all the surface bubbles, but as you can see, the resin that I've used is really bubble free, and I will link that in the description below, don't worry. Thank you to everyone that got me a coffee last month. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Your names are coming up now. It really has enabled me to get through a difficult month, so thank you again. Just going through it with a little bit of this black on this stick to give it a few details. And the great thing is this resin had got a little bit thick as well, so it's not going to move around in there, it's not just going to blend in, and you'll still be able to see those little details at the end, as you'll see when you see the finished product. Well, now this is all cured up, what I did was I cut the corners of this and took quite a lot more off this piece of plastic so it didn't curl up as the heat in here from the curing process, because I thought, well, if it cures up then it might leak. But as you can see, there was no leaks, well, a tiny bit there, but I'm not sure if that was a leak or where I dripped it. So now it's just about taking this plastic off here and seeing if it leaves any residue. It hasn't really seemed to have left any residue yet, but if it does, that's not a problem, because I can clean that off with a baby wipe quite easily. Now, I've done quite a simple design here because I just really wanted to test it and see if it worked and how well it worked. But you could make quite a complex design in that, because what you could do is put different colours through it. You could even do one of those lovely swirls in it where you leave the resin to cure up a little bit and then put stuff in it. If you don't know how to do that and you'd like to learn more about that, then I'll link a video at the end of this one for you to learn how to do that, because it does give some really great effects. Yeah, that's not feeling sticky at all. I have got a little bit there, but I don't think it's where it leaked, because I don't think it did leak. I think all that is where I maybe splashed a bit of resin. So there's the bit that is where the sellotape was, and that should just come off nicely. There we go. And now you've got a really simple, really large bezel that you could hang up in front of the window or add to another picture. As an example, I poured this for another project that I'm working on, which you'll see soon. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe so you don't miss out on this project. I could actually pop that in the middle there like that and add that to an existing just plain pour. And you could do some smaller ones and put them around and have it however you like. But overall, I think that's a really good project. I'm going to try some more, but do them a little bit more adventurous. And I'll show you what those look like in a future video. Now I know that this is going to work. Oh, I'm really pleased with that. Let me know in the comments what you think. I'd really be interested to know what you think, because I love it when people give me feedback and tips and tricks in the comments. They're really useful. Please boot that like button. It really does help my videos to get out there. And it makes me so happy when I see that like button number keep going up and up and up. It really does make me feel really, really cheerful. Everything that I've used today, all the links for everything that I've used today will be in the description below, along with the link to buy me a coffee if you'd like to say thank you for any of my projects and to help support this channel and get your name on my coffee board. Don't forget, check the video out that's coming up next. Take care, enjoy your resin. Bye.